Hello, everybody, and welcome to Your Story. I'm your host, Travis Dockery, and on Your Story, we sit down with influential people from Clay County and Western North Carolina and kind of catch up with them and find out how they got to where they are today. It's people you may know, but you don't know their story. And today, I'm very excited to have recording artist and music man extraordinaire, Andrew Chastain, with me. Andrew, thank you for being here, buddy.
Yeah, man. Glad to be here.
It's we kind of know each other. We're Instagram pals, I guess. I reached out to Andrew back in the summer from my other job and invited him to Tri-County Racetrack to sing the national anthem. You were kind enough to come out and do that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And we've kind of stayed in touch since then. And I've been talking to you for months now about doing this, but I finally got it rolling, and I'm excited you're here.
Yeah, glad to be here, brother.
So I'll just kick it off the way we always do. When and where does your story start?
Oh. Well, I guess it starts back in 1987, June the 5th, when I was born.
Just across that Georgia line.
Just across that Georgia line, yeah. Like a nice little plug from song Roots.
There you go.
Yeah, I was born in Blairsville, Georgia, Union County Hospital. I grew up in Brasstown, North Carolina. I grew up in Wilson Holler. You know, my mom was a Wilson, and I have a lot of music on both sides of my family. But I grew up kind of immersed in music from my grandpa and his brother.
Now, I know who they are, but tell everybody, because your grandpa and his brother are probably two of the most well-known people in the area.
Yeah.
So tell everybody who your grandpa was.
Ray Wilson and Jerry Wilson. Ray is my grandpa. Jerry was his brother.
The Wilson brothers.
Wilson brothers.
It's like the Brasstown Leuven brothers, right?
Right. And their brother Henry, of course.
Oh, yeah, Henry.
Played with them for years, too.
So tell me, you said you grew up immersed in music. Your earliest memories, do they have like a soundtrack? Like there's constantly music in the background of your memories from childhood?
I think it's really more attached to experience and atmosphere, you know, rather than like specific songs or specific types of music. I mean, there was always gospel music and bluegrass music kind of being played in the living room. Where we lived in the holler was kind of centrally located, and it was kind of a utopia, you know, growing up that I didn't realize. I took for granted for sure, but all of my family, there were probably 10 houses in that holler, and we were all kin. And
you just thought that was normal. Everybody grew up like that, right?
Yeah. Everybody just kind of walks into your house, don't knock on the door, you know? I mean,
right.
And it's just normal. So, I mean, every get-together, every Thanksgiving or 4th of July or Christmas and all that, you know, you could always look forward to everybody coming to our house and kind of hanging out in the living room. And in between, you know, it wasn't nothing to... for one of my uncles to be taking a nap on the couch, you know, just come through, you know. But I was really fortunate growing up around that. But, of course, with any gathering, Papa and Jerry and Henry, they'd all have their instruments up there, you know, and Jimmy and Alan,
right.
Which is Ray's sons, you know, my uncles.
And
of course,
Maria.
And Maria, all of them. I mean, it's literally the talent in that family. I tell people all the time that I'm the low man on the totem pole when it comes to talent in my family with music, you know. But every get together was just immersed with music, you know, people sitting around in the living room playing.
See, I'm picturing, and this is not a dig at all. To me, this is a compliment.
Right.
But I'm picturing it's like your family get together is like an episode of Hee Haw,
yeah.
where people sitting around and joking and cutting up, and all of a sudden, you know, somebody breaks out into song.
Right.
That sounds like a great childhood to me.
It was awesome, you know, and it was definitely, like I say, I appreciate it so much more now,
right.
Looking back on it. And I'm really thankful that my dad kind of had the foresight he rented a video camera back then, you know. It wasn't commonplace for people just to have a video camera.
You couldn't afford it.
Right.
Yeah.
It was expensive for him to rent it for a week,
you know,
and it was one of those big ones you carry on your shoulder, you know. And
it takes two people.
Yeah. You got to wind it up before you start. But so we've got all these old videos, you know, and stuff, and I'm sure that a lot of the memories that I have are are supplemented by watching those videos.
Right.
You know.
Now, are those some of the videos that appear in your music video roots?
Yes. Yeah. All of those were, all of the old footage in that, you know,
Was from the old shoulder cam.
right. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
And I think, and I don't want to jump ahead, but I think that your music and the songs you write, kind of, they harken back to those days, and I think it lets listeners kind of feel just how special those times were for you and how important that is to you.
Right. Well, I hope so. You know,
That's the goal.
It kind of is, you know, but it's. I don't really think, you know. Obviously, when I write a song, sometimes there's a specific point that I'm trying to convey, you know, or a message that I want to get across. But I always, when I write, I try to portray a story, and portray it in a way that is not focused specifically on a single thing, you know, that other people can relate to it, and maybe they don't even realize what I'm saying in the song, and they might listen to it 10 times, and you know, but that 10th time they realize what I'm trying to say,
right.
But they've already connected, you know, their lives and experiences with certain aspects of the song, you know. So I try not to think too much about what it's going to sound like, or particularly what people are going to think about it, you know, when it comes out. I try to just let that creative process and my influences determine that naturally, you know.
Right. Well, circling back on that, at what point in your life did music go from just something the family did to something that Andrew wants to do?
Probably about 4 or 5 years after high school.
Really?
Yeah. I got a guitar when I was little, and, you know, in all those scenes where they were all sitting around picking and playing, I was not, like, in there playing with them. I had a little miniature guitar, and sometimes I'd be in the background just doing single notes, you know, just kind of desperately hoping that somebody would be like, hey, come over here and let me teach you how to do this,
right.
You know. I didn't really ever get that, except in the form of, you know, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, Papaw, he helped me to learn the basic chords, and he kind of scribbled them out on a piece of paper for me, and, you know, he's like, here's how you play a G,
C and
a
D,
D and a C, right, and an E minor, and you can play 100 songs.
Yep, there you go.
After that, we'll learn B and F and A, and,
yep.
You know, and so that started the process, and I kind of had that, and honestly, my cousin Paul, I don't know if you know Paul Wilson, that's
is that Jerry's son?
Jerry's son. I would go and hang out at his house, you know, in kind of my adolescent years, I guess, middle school and early high school. And he would always have he's a phenomenal guitar picker too, but he would always have a guitar laying around, and me and my brother would go up there and hang out. We'd be watching a movie or playing a video game or something. And I would kind of always be in the background picking around and trying to put theme music to a video game that they were playing, you know, and Paul would give me pointers, you know, and inspiration.
Right.
But as far as developing my style of playing, it was mostly done by trial and error, you know, of sitting in my bedroom and trying things, hearing songs, and trying to figure out how they make those work.
Sounds, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, if you watch my playing now, that makes a lot of sense because there's so many things that I have a lot of room to grow on. It's funny because I used to the subject would come up, and I think it was Paul, you know, that I would say something about, like, I want to, like, know how to play guitar, like, you know how to play guitar, and he's like, well, you know, I'm always learning. You
right.
know, nobody ever completely
masters
knows.
it. Yeah.
Right. It's a process.
Right.
And I mean, you can choose to stop learning. You can choose to be content with where you're at, and I guess that's kind of where I had gotten to.
And this was your early teen years?
Early teen years, okay. You know, and I kind of, I still had my guitar, and I'd still play around on it and stuff, but it really took a back seat to football.
Yeah.
Football became my life, and it had been, honestly, since first grade. I mean, I begged my mom to let me play in kindergarten, and she wouldn't, and then I begged her to let me play in first grade, you know, and kind of use leverage that, well, you know, Chris is playing,
so-and-so's playing, his mom's letting, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And got her convinced, you know, and started playing, and just instantly became obsessed, and was pretty good at it, you know, for a short white boy. I could run pretty quick, and my skills developed throughout school, and I got better at it in high school, and took a lot more of my time, and just my free time was spent on, how can I develop myself better to be better at football, better at sports.
That was your passion.
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean, it makes sense.
Music was still there, and I still loved music, but I had not discovered, kind of the deep love that was ingrained in me.
Right.
It wasn't until my senior year of high school, it'd kind of been 12 years of just my ultimate goal was football, taking it as far as I could go. As a kid, you dream of college and NFL.
Right. Right.
Yeah, as ridiculous and rare as that might be, you still kind of believed in that dream. And
I can be that one guy.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I can work hard enough. I can overcome. You watch Rudy enough times, you think you can do anything.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. Excellent
Right.
point. Yeah. So senior year, reality kind of sets in that's it for you.
Yeah, I actually got injured. I got a stress fracture on my L3 vertebrae. So I broke my back more or less, and that was really hard, really tough. I mean, the time in my life that I was at, 17 years old, becoming a man,
Right.
Discovering who I am and my path in life, and all of a sudden,
No worries.
no worries, just
Right.
full of anticipation, motivation, and hopefulness,
Right.
And one doctor's visit kind of flipped that on its head. you
Wow.
know. And I ended up still playing. I set out for about 8 weeks, and I had to wear like a hard shell cast, and I would only practice about 1 or 2 days a week.
Save it up for the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, wouldn't walk for a few days after the game. Typically, throughout my athletic career, I would play everything, offense, defense, special teams. But at this point, it had got down to playing only offense. I was playing running back at that time, and even then it was like maybe every other series.
All right. So is that like during that, and you start realizing this is it for me as far as football? Did you start leaning towards music more?
No, still not. I didn't really give it up. I still had
That dream.
had the mindset,
Yeah.
that I'll get over this, and was encouraged by a lot of people too, and just my work ethic. I'll get over this. My senior season won't be that great, but I'll heal. I'll work out. I'll get faster. I'll increase my 40 time, and I'll walk on somewhere at college. And I'd had some colleges that were interested after my season was over still. I'd sent highlight tapes around.
Right.
They'd ask me, they would ask me to come to do a combine, which is basically where you go and show how strong and fast you
Right.
are. And at that time, my back was still not where it needed to be. I mean, it took about 2 years after high school to where I wasn't constantly bothered by it.
Mm.
And that's a lifelong thing that I'll carry with me. Scar tissue and all of that. I try to stay active now to kind of stay in front of it, but it really didn't. It was about a year after, or maybe 6 months after high school, when I kind of realized that I wasn't going to go play college football, and that dream was kind of over. So my next fallback sort of plan was, and always had been, go to the military. In my mind, that was going to be similar to playing sports. Having
You're on a team.
on a team. You've got somebody pushing you.
Right.
You've got
You've got an objective.
got an objective, a goal, a mission. That you can channel everything towards, and essentially you can work hard and be successful.
Right.
So I went and talked to a recruiter. Had a date set up to go through MEPS and sign a contract and all of that. And a couple of days before that date approached, I was playing a pickup game of basketball and tore my ACL. So that set me back again.
Yeah.
And
Dang, man. So plan A and plan B. Now, plan A is gone. Plan B has taken a severe hit.
right.
What's your mindset at that point?
I I wasn't in a good place.
Yeah, I'm sure.
My relationship with God was not in a good place. I felt desperate, felt hopeless. I felt like very depressed, for sure.
I'm sure.
And had been. Just kind of felt like I had no purpose, and didn't realize, I was young and full of angst, but, that if those things hadn't happened, looking back on it, I'm so glad that things happened the way that they did.
Right.
And I learned a lot of things from all of those setbacks. Not as much as I could have learned, just because of my attitude and my mindset. But, at that time it was definitely, it was negative, desperation, hopelessness.
So I know I'm moving fast here, but so what kind of turned it around?
Well, I was doing I was working with my dad. He had an auto parts store in Andrews, North Carolina, and I'd been working with him. I started working with him my senior year of high school because after football I didn't play any other sports.
Right.
And I only went to school for half a day. So he was like, well, you're going to be doing something.
Right.
And I went and worked with him at the auto parts, and that was for a few years. And at the same time, I was taking classes at Tri-County Community College, just kind of getting my general education, in the hopes that, I'm going to do something.
Right.
I don't know what it is yet. And a buddy of mine was going to school in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I talked to him, and he's like, man, you ought to come, I've got an apartment, come split the rent with me, stay out here, you can finish up credits at this school over here, So I did that for a year and also worked out there, and it was during that time, right before moving out there, I'd written my first song.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because I was just thinking, so you've written a song.
Right.
Obviously, you've come through hard times,
Right.
and I think a lot of people, creative people, in a hard time, writing or painting maybe,
Right.
kind of helps. Did the hard times encourage the song?
Hard times encouraged the song, but it wasn't either of those. I mean, I guess those were a culmination, but it was a young relationship that actually inspired it.
Always. So what was the first song that you wrote?
It's called Too Late.
Too Late.
Yeah, it's actually it's not recorded anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it just too personal?
No, I recorded it on an acoustic EP back in 2014, and after a year or two, I ended up kind of doing away with that EP or taking it off the shelf. It was just as an artist, you progress.
And you look back and
you're like, man, that EP that I recorded in my bedroom and had my buddies mix for me is not as professional quality as
I thought it was.
I thought it was. I mean, it was, and I'm definitely hard on myself and a big critic of myself.
But that's what it takes, right, to get better?
I think so, and there's a fine line there. Sometimes that keeps you from getting better.
That's true. So is there any hope of one day we hear Too Late?
I played at live shows all the time.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I mean, and I tell the story. It's a true story. In the same week, my girlfriend broke up with me. My dog got ran over, and
did your truck quit too?
That's the kicker. It's like I wasn't going to wait for my truck to break down. I was just going to take the sign from God that I need to write a country song. So I sat down and did it in about 15 minutes, and it was the easiest song I've ever written. And
that's awesome.
It ruined me because I was like, songwriting's going to be easy.
Yeah,
this is cool. I just sit down and pop one out. And
okay, so you've written that song. You're in Charlotte. So how do we go from I've written a song to I'm on a stage performing a song? Is it around the same time frame?
No, it took a little more time. Mainly because I was writing songs and I wasn't really showing them to people. I mean,
did you have
my friends.
Maybe I should ask this: did you have the intention of just being a songwriter and selling those songs to other people, or was it always your mindset to be the singer and songwriter?
I didn't really have a goal. At the beginning, I guess if I'd had a choice, I would have wanted to sell my songs. I wasn't really keen on getting on a stage and being a performer.
Right.
And it took me a while to really get comfortable with that, doing open mic shows and stuff, and
so is that how you started on stage? open mic
on
nights?
stage, open mic nights.
Okay, so you said it was a little while between when you wrote the song and when you stepped on the stage.
Right.
And again, I know for those of you who are watching or listening, I know we're moving fast, but Andrew's a busy man. I gotta get everything I can while he's here. So, what was the first time you stepped on a stage in front of a crowd that wasn't family and singing one of your songs? What was that like?
Nerve-wracking.
Were you in sheer terror?
I was nervous.
Yeah.
For sure. Voice shaking, hands cramping up, hard to play more than 3 songs at a time.
Fingers killing you.
Oh, absolutely.
Trying to remember words.
Trying to remember words, try not to mess things up, worrying about what people think about your song.
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's one thing if you're just a guy getting up on an open mic night and singing a cover song.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10, it's already been a hit song, so you know they're going to like the song. Yeah, they may not like the way you do it, but they're going to like the song. But to be putting yourself out there, not only your voice and your talent on the guitar, but also your thoughts and your words in your own song.
Right.
That's just, you just went in the deep end, didn't you?
Right. I mean, I didn't realize how vulnerable I was being, honestly.
That may be an advantage to being young at the time, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I didn't.
What motivated you? What made you think now's the time when I'm going to do it?
It kind of just organically happened. I don't know that I pursued a lot of that. It was kind of like I just started doing it and showing people, and they started telling more people about it. And I started a YouTube channel and just started uploading covers and original songs and stuff.
And I actually did a little research, which I listen to your music. I have, and sometime in this, I want to see if I've got you on the right playlist. Okay. But I've watched your YouTube videos, and you can see a progression of the early videos, more cover stuff.
Right.
And then it kind of gets mixed, and now it's mostly your stuff. I know every now and then you'll do a cover.
Right.
So you start the YouTube channel doing covers, and you're doing open mic nights. At that point, are you thinking this is something I could do? Like, this could be my career, or is this something that you're just doing just to kind of pass the time and piddle in?
I don't know if I would say pass the time and piddle, but I also don't think that I was like really focused on building my career, in it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed other people enjoying it, and I enjoyed it was brand new for me, to kind of have venues reaching out and be like, hey, we saw this video, we'd like to have you come play. The first time that happened was like, what? You want me to come play?
Me?
They're like, we can't pay you, but we'll give you free food and you can take
You get
tips,
exposure, yeah.
And it's like, you're going to give me free food and people can tip me, and it was like, yeah.
I've made it.
I'll be, big time.
Move over Garth Brooks, right?
But it was definitely, it was cool to see things grow, you know, to go do that, first little show. And
where was the first show?
The first show was at a place in Andrews, North Carolina that doesn't exist anymore. But at that time it was called Loafers, and it was like a little pizza / bar. And, there was probably 20 people there in the whole place, counting the staff.
Well, that's half of Andrews, right? I'm kidding. I got friends in Andrews. It's okay.
I worked up there. That's where my dad's store was.
Yeah.
So I worked there for a long time. But, I mean.
So that night, when the first show, did you get the bug hard that night? Or was it still something that you were just enjoying? And
I was enjoying it, but I don't know. I don't think that it, like, I definitely wanted to do it more,
Yeah.
But it really, I guess my motivation really increased as I stuck with it and did more shows and seen the growth. And then all of a sudden, was playing different towns. And then all of a sudden there was people coming to shows from different towns in different
specifically
places.
To hear you.
Right, coming up and talking to me, saying we heard you over here or we saw this video, and I realized the human connection, and just talking to different people. and that was really cool.
Yeah.
And that seems like, man, seems like so long ago. That was probably 9 years ago.
But it seems like a lifetime ago.
Oh man, it seems like forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was actually it was 10 years ago.
So things keep growing, and you're getting booked more places. More and more people are learning who you are. What would you consider? I don't really know how to ask this. What would you consider like your breakout or your song, your first song that was like a hit? You know what I'm saying? That when people heard it, they knew that's Andrew Chastain.
Carolina Hills, for sure.
That's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
Because that one, anytime I'm introducing somebody to your music, that one and Roots, that's the two that I'm like, you got to check this out.
Right.
And it hooks them every time,
Right.
both of them. But Carolina Hills, especially for people in this area,
Right.
because it is so personal to this area.
Right.
You know, so I'm going to put you on the spot. Would you play it for us?
Carolina Hills?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll play it.
Because while you're getting your guitar, I'll just share with the listeners. This one, if you've not seen the music video, check out the music video on Andrew's YouTube channel. You'll see places that you know. For sure, you're going to know these places. Now, you Yellow Jacket fans, there's a couple of scenes in there you might want to look away. But it's I think it's become, like, I've got friends that it's their anthem for this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, they a friend of mine named Drew, he says it's the best song ever written.
Oh, wow.
So
That's very humbling. I wanted, when I was writing it, I started writing that one when I was in Charlotte. I wrote like the first verse and the chorus, and then I just kind of got stuck. And then I wrote the second verse and the chorus and bridge, of course, you know, when I moved back home.
So did it start out as like a homesick?
I was definitely homesick, and I was thinking about things that I love about here, that I'd taken for granted about here, you know.
Now, think about that. You started it away
Mm-hmm.
in a homesick song, and you finish it when you come back home.
Yeah.
That's a movie, right?
Yeah.
That's a Hallmark movie.
I don't know if anybody watch it, but yeah, you can make it into one.
That's a story. All right, well, I'll shut up so you can sing.
All right. Well, have you ever seen a Carolina moon dancing on the lake? Or felt the warm drops from a summertime rain? Have you ever heard a V8 sound with the windows rolled down? Looking in the rear view, watching the dust settle to the background. Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Watch it settle to the background. In the place where I first learned who Jesus was, and the place where I found my heart could fall in love. It's where those Friday night football lights, they still give me chills. But I'm proud to say that I'm from these Carolina hills. Whoa, oh, oh, oh. Whoa, oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, these Carolina hills. Well, have you ever jumped off that second bridge out in Hanging Dog? Watch out for the law, don't know how we never did get caught. Have you ever watched a sun crawl up from behind a mountaintop, reminding you that time, well, it don't ever stop. No, oh, oh, oh. No, oh, no, oh, oh. I know it don't ever stop. In the place where I first learned who Jesus was, and the place where I found my heart to fall in love. It's where those Friday night football lights, they still give me chills. Lord, I'm proud to say that I'm from these Carolina hills. Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. These Carolina hills. Now, if there's one thing in this life that I know to be true, this is where I wanna be when my life is said and through. 'Cause it's the place where I first learned who Jesus was, and the place where I found my heart could fall in love. It's where those Friday night football lights, they still give me chills. Lord, I'm proud to say that I'm from these Carolina hills. Oh, 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 oh. Whoa, oh. Yeah, yeah, yeah. These Carolina hills. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
I feel like I just got a VIP experience there, you know. So I know you don't want to just throw that around, but so that one kind of more or less put you on the map, right? That one was kind of a breakthrough for you.
Sparked a lot of interest for sure.
Right. And I don't know. I know a lot of our listeners. We were talking about the Wilson brothers,
Mm-hmm.
and it's totally different type of music, right?
Right.
You didn't go the bluegrass route.
Right.
You went more of a singer-songwriter, Americana country route.
Right.
With a little blues. And did you ever think the bluegrass route? Because you were talking earlier about finding yourself, and
Right.
did you battle with yourself? Like, well, if I go this way, that's not what people know my family for. Or did you like, I got to do this. This is what's in me. I've got to pour it out.
I didn't ever feel convicted or inclined
Pressured or anything?
Right.
Right.
And a lot of that was because I never played bluegrass.
Right.
You know, I never really sat in and played with them. I was intimidated a lot of times, you know, and especially by Jimmy and his family.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
growing up with, you know, his kids, Anna and Jessica and Daniel, and they were all younger than me, and we're all just levels above me. You know, Anna, I don't know if you've heard her
Oh, yeah.
before, but
Yeah.
good Lord.
I
you
know.
I mean, her songwriting and her playing, all of that
And her
was,
voice.
and her voice,
Yeah.
is all amazing.
Yep.
You know, but I guess I didn't go that route because I didn't know how.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't play bluegrass. Like I say, I was really self-taught, and it was influenced by music that I listened to. You know?
Well, there you go. If you had gone the bluegrass route, it wouldn't have been you wouldn't be what you needed to be, right? You would have been playing a part, kind of. If
I had
if you had
chose
forced
to
yourself,
specifically,
yeah,
like learn bluegrass
Yeah.
and do that because of my family,
right,
yeah, it would have been disingenuine, you
right,
know?
and you wouldn't have enjoyed it, right?
Maybe not, you know, probably not, but I don't think I would have because I didn't do it, you know.
Right.
Not that I didn't enjoy bluegrass.
Oh,
or
no.
like bluegrass. I
Yeah.
just, you know, I didn't have a lot of thought didn't go into, you know,
You just
the route
did-
that I was taking.
Right,
Yeah.
you did
It was
natural, right?
yeah, sat down with not knowing the right way to do anything and just stringing stuff together and being like, oh, I could put some words to this and
Right.
oh, this works, and really not even thinking about the finished product, like what genres does
Right.
this fall into.
So you mentioned the music you listened to. Who were some of the people that influenced you?
Influenced me, definitely 90s country.
Yeah.
You know, growing up, Garth Brooks was big.
Yeah.
All Tim McGraw, just basically anybody on country radio in the 90s.
Right. Because 90s country was huge.
It was huge for me, and I thought that was like, you know, my mom would listen to like 92.3 soft rock, you know, driving around sometimes. So I would hear like Rod Stewart and people like that, and I just was never really like keen on it, you know.
Right. Okay, well, I mentioned this. Let me, because I have you on a playlist in my truck,
Mhm.
and these are the guys I've got you with. And you
Okay.
tell me if I need to move you somewhere else, okay? Because I really don't think of you as a genre. Like, I don't think of you as country.
Right.
In my mind, it's more singer-songwriter, so I've got you with Cody Jinks,
Yeah.
Tyler Childers, Jason Isbell. Am I good?
Oh man, that's great company to be in.
Larry Fleet.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm good then.
I mean, I'm honored to be among those names. You know, as far as I feel like those guys do a similar thing. You know, not even that our music is the same.
No, it's
But-
totally different, but I'm going to make a lot of people mad right now. All right. To me, the commonality all of you guys have is it's genuine. And like you said early on in this, that you didn't write stuff for anybody else necessarily or thinking how they would react to it. And I think that's what makes it so good. Tyler Childers, you listen to his stuff, and I feel like it's the same thing. He's like, this is what was in me. I need to get this out on paper and sing it.
Right.
Take it however you want to.
Right.
Cody Jinks, the same way. So as I loved 90s country,
Right.
and I'm old now, you know, so I listen to what's called country now, and I'm like, this is not country. So I appreciate and thank you for being. I don't know. It's called, like on Sirius, it's called outlaw country,
Right.
but to me, it's true country.
Right.
So I want to thank you for being genuine and not trying to have a hook in a song, and obviously, you know, the goal is for you to make this your career and,
Right.
and grow. But I appreciate you not being quote unquote sellout and just trying to be a Luke Bryan. I'll just say it.
Right. Right.
So as you move forward from Carolina Hills and you fall into this group of singer-songwriters, you continue, your fan base continues to grow. And I was looking on your Instagram, you have like 22,000 followers.
Right.
Does that ever blow your mind? Are you ever like,
I mean, honestly, I try not to focus too much on social media. It's a crucial part of marketing and being relevant. And in years past, I used to put way too much stock in a lot of that, you know, and focus a lot on trying to grow your brand and
Right.
be relevant and, you know, be noticed by people. But that's such a slow toxin that just takes over and changes your way of thinking, and suddenly you're trying to please people. And
will you become a marketer
right.
instead of a performer or singer-songwriter, right?
And it works on you mentally.
Oh,
know?
yeah.
I mean, and you may not even realize it. You may not realize how, and I'd say that most of society is addicted to social media or their phones.
Yep.
And, you know, myself included, you know, and I mean, it's something that you have to consciously be aware of and exercise discipline and set boundaries, you know, and I don't know. It's just, it becomes an unhealthy thing if you let it. for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Did you find that when you changed your mindset from being, I've got to build my brand and push my brand to just, I'm just going to do my stuff, did you find that even your social media did better then?
Not really.
Really?
Yeah, not really. I mean, and it's an ongoing thing, you know. I mean,
Well, you do a great job. As it's not, at least on Instagram, it's not always. Obviously, you say, "Hey, I'm going to be here this weekend," which
Right.
you know you should. But you post pictures from your trips that you go on, and I feel like it lets fans feel like they know you.
right,
You know,
right,
not nearly as good as this podcast will do that. But no, I'm joking. But I think you have a good balance there. So Carolina Hills, you found yourself, you've gone through the social media trying to push your brand, and things are still growing. And I notice now that you have two types of performances. You have just you, and then you have the full band.
right.
Obviously, there's a little different in preparation when it's a solo. But do you ever are you ever at a solo show thinking, man, I really wish I had those guys? You know?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else, just for the company.
Right.
You know? I mean, sometimes you're playing a gig and it's at a place that's not desirable, you know, and the
Or like
crowd's
a private party and you don't
private
know
party.
anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just not an atmosphere that's But I mean, you get used to that. Like I said, I've been doing it for like 10 years,
Gosh.
and it's been my sole income for about a little over 2 years now.
How happy does that make you that you're able to do what you love?
I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
I'm very thankful that God has given me so much that I don't deserve, and I'm thankful for the time that I've had. I'm still learning on how to be constructive and use that time, beneficially.
Right.
Because you can fill your time with all kinds of stuff.
Just spinning your wheels, though.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's better for me to be busy.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm more productive when I'm busy through the week rather than have a completely open schedule and be like, yeah, I've got 4 days with nothing on my agenda, and I'm going to write 3 songs this week.
Yeah.
And then you end up not writing any.
So talking about new songs, it looks like you've been back in the studio.
We have been, yeah.
Cutting a new. Is it still an album? Do you still call it an album? What do y'all call it? It's not a record, right?
Well, I mean, you've got singles, which
Right.
is obviously a single song. Typically, anything that's around 3 to 5 songs or 2 to 5 songs would be considered an EP, which is just a smaller version of an album. Those
An
are
appetizer.
Right. Those are a lot more popular these days. I mean, EPs, just because, like, for people in our position, independent musicians who fund everything ourselves, financially, it's a lot more affordable,
Well, yeah.
paying for 5 songs rather than 10 songs.
Mm.
The other thing is people's attention span these days is so short that if you put out 15 songs, they're not going to listen to all 15
How
songs.
crazy is that?
Yeah.
We can't be bothered to listen to 10 or 15 songs.
No, they want something new 6 months from now, So if you put out 15 songs, be ready to put out, doesn't matter what it is, something else 6 months from
Which
now.
is a trap, right? Then you're lured into just putting out just anything.
Right.
And,
So
and the
it's-
quality goes down.
Right.
And that's how we get Luke Bryan.
Money makes the world go round, I guess.
Well, so what's some of the new stuff? I know I watched a video today. We were talking about your grandpa Ray, and you wrote a song, his old guitar, right? Your
Yep.
old guitar,
Yep.
old guitar, something.
Right.
Is that going to be on the new one, or is that kind of just a?
We haven't started recording it. Honestly, I mean, when I put it on social media the other day, I'd finished it like the day before.
Well, I read the story,
Right.
and you said that was just one you couldn't hold on to, and you said that he was kind of the same way. He couldn't keep secret; it had to be out
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Really good song, by the way. If you want to check that out, Andrew's got an awesome YouTube channel, and you have we were talking about from your earlier years, your cover songs. You have some interesting covers. I was not expecting to hear you cover Adele,
Oh, yeah.
but I think it's great. It shows your range of talent plus musical appreciation. So
I appreciate that.
So you're in the studio. When's new stuff come out, or do we have a date?
We've got tentative date.
Well, then we won't say.
It was going to be, it's kind of been pushed back, but I will say this, that the songs are the best work that we've ever done as a band, best writing that I've ever done. I'm really excited about them. I can show you one if you want to hear it.
Oh, you're reading my mind.
We got time. But
We got time, buddy.
this is so you were talking about the song that I wrote about my grandpa, your old guitar, and that was really, that song kind of touches on what makes me me and what has made me me through him, and that kind of goes back to the beginning. And this song, we're actually going to be releasing a single before we release everything that we've been recording, and the one that we're going to be releasing is called I Was Lying. And this is about it's about my fiance that I met a little over a year ago, and this is about it's kind of the mirror side of the song about my papa. That's about the beginning and how that's changed my life, and this is about how my life has changed just as much right now. How much this has influenced my
Right.
life. So it's kind of interesting. Just 2 critical points in my life: my grandpa as a young man, inspiring music, and then this song about her. Now, and I like it a lot. But
Well, while you grab your guitar, I think there's a teaser video out about this one, right?
Yeah.
And it's you can talk about how it's kind of its own thing, and it's a little different than anything you've written before, and different sounding, I guess. Am I wrong in that?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Maybe that was in my head. I thought this sounds different than stuff.
No, you're never wrong about how you think something sounds.
I think it sounds different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good.
I honestly don't think about it. I mean,
Well,
I write stuff and it's coming from me, so
Right.
it's hard for me to notice a difference
Right.
sometimes.
It's kind of like when we see ourselves in the mirror the every day, we don't notice changes, but when we see somebody that hasn't seen us in 3 years, they notice that
Right.
we have gray in our beard and
Right.
less
Like,
hair
dude,
on our head.
You look different. And you're like, do I?
Do I look the same as I did yesterday?
Yesterday,
Yeah. Okay.
So this one's called "I Was Lying," and it will be out. I'm gonna take these off.
Go
just so
ahead.
Here, it'll be out possibly December.
Just in time for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, I never really minded much traveling alone. Late nights, bar fights, and cigarette smoke. Bloodshot eyes just trying to make another show. I like to feel the freedom and the wind going down the road. No one to answer to or call my own. Yeah, I've always been content with the thought of growing old alone. And that was just the other day, but it seems so long ago. 'Cause you got me pulling U-turns down this dead-end road, thinking things I never even thought before. Yeah, forever never crossed my mind till you walked through that door. Well, I let you meet my mama that very first night. Don't know why, but something just felt right. Everything seemed to fall into place without even trying. I used to say my heart was broken, it didn't know how to love. It turns out I was lying. Well, to say I got a past is an understatement. A one-night stands turned my heart into pavement. I never knew someone like you was even in this world. But if I can go back to then and tell myself what I know now, then Lord knows I'd run till my lungs they gave out and save a lot of time and a whole lot of broken hearts. Every road that I went down, girl, they let me know where you are. 'Cause you got me pulling U-turns down this dead-end road, thinking things I never even thought before. Yeah, forever never crossed my mind till you walked through that door. Well, I let you meet my mama that very first night. Don't know why, but something just felt right. Everything seemed to fall into place without even trying. I used to say my heart was broken and didn't know how to love. It turns out I was lying. I'm so glad I was lying.
I think that's your New Carolina Hills.
Yeah, you like it?
I like that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, that's a different one than I was talking about that has a different sound. I don't remember what that one was called. But, yeah, man, that was really good.
Thank you.
That.
I appreciate it.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
Nobody download it, and like it's not out there, so don't be putting it on the black market or anything. So tell everybody how they can keep up with you. And maybe where you're going to be in the next couple of weeks, or
absolutely. You can. I mean, we're on all the social media. If you Google, the easiest thing to do is Google Andrew Chastain Band, and you'll find our website. You can search the same name on Facebook. I'm on Instagram as Andrew Chastain Music. Of course, we're on Spotify, Apple Music, Pandora, iHeartRadio, all of those things. Anywhere where you stream music, it really helps us when people click the follow button.
Yeah.
And that also notifies you when we have new music. You know, it'll pop up in your feed if you use Spotify or whatever streaming service. But yeah, feel free to.
And the YouTube channel.
YouTube channel. If you just search my name, Andrew Chastain,
and give him a follow, subscribe. That helps out. I know.
Absolutely. I've been a little bit somewhat lax on new content on YouTube.
But I think I like the old stuff. Like I love being able to go back to 2012.
Yeah.
And see the progression not only of your music but also your hairstyle.
Yeah. That's kind of a running joke, you know. If you watch it, you can see it. You can see it grow, and then you can see it cut again, and then you can see it grow again.
Listen, man, let it grow. As long as it'll grow, let it grow. Take it from me. But thanks for being here, buddy. I know you got to go. You've got practice tonight, and you can find Andrew somewhere, usually within a decent driving distance around.
I'll be in Blue Ridge on Friday at Misty Mountain Hops doing a solo show, and then a full band show this Saturday. I'm not sure when this is going to air.
That will be in the past, but
okay.
But you'll be somewhere this upcoming weekend, or probably within the next 2 weeks of when this airs, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks, buddy.
All right, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this as well, because that helps me out too, and we appreciate you listening.